Hi, I'm Gena, and today I'm going to be walking you through how to create a Quiver Dashboard template that you can then insert into a workshop module, and then finally use to create a Notepad document template that you can use to generate Notepad documents with the click of a button. Before we get started, a quick word from our founder.
Discover how Palantir customers unlock more value from Foundry and AIP thanks to our live instructor-led trainings. We are Ontologize, a group of former Palantir engineers who love teaching. We've trained thousands of Palantir users at leading organizations around the world. Unlock the full potential of your Palantir deployment by going to ontologize.com.
So we're going to be starting out with creating a Quiver analysis. And in this case, I'm going to be relying on a Quiver visual function that I put together previously. You can see how I did that in our Quiver visual functions video on our YouTube channel. Now, the visual function that I'm going to be working with now is a little bit different because it starts from guests. In the video, my Quiver visual function started with entrances, but in this case, we're starting from guests, searching around to entrances linked to guests, and then doing the Net Promoter Score calculation. The reason for this change is that by starting with guests, this function becomes more interoperable with the things that we want to use it for. So notice also that I have saved the visual function. It is called Net Promoter Score Calculator, and I'm going to be using it going forward. So starting from wherever you are, I'm going to go ahead and open up a new Quiver analysis. So you're going to hit Command-J and search for Quiver. You're going to go ahead and open up Quiver and create a new analysis. I'm going to go ahead and call this one Guest Satisfaction Quiver. And then I'm going to hit Save. So from here, I'm going to hit Add Data to Analysis, and I'm going to be adding the guest object set. So I'm going to hit Add Object Set, and that is going to be my base object set that I'm going to be working with for the rest of this analysis. So from here, I prefer to work in the graph view because I find it more intuitive. So here, you can see that guests is our base object set. Now from here, I'm going to be creating a couple of different subsets of the guest object type that I'm interested in. For starters, I'm going to hit Search and search for Filter Object Set. And to start, I'm going to make a subset of guests that is just guests under the age of 20. So the first thing we'll do is rename this card to Awake Infusion. And so I'm going to add a filter. So I'm going to be filtering for where guest age is less than or equal to 20. So now I have my first subset of guests. Now, once again, I'm going to make another filter object set to filter for a different subset of guests. So starting again from the guest space object set, I'm going to hit Search, Filter Object Set, and then now I'm going to be filtering for where guest age is between, and we'll say 20 and 50. So I'll rename this guests between 20 and 50. So next up, I'm going to do this a couple more times to create two more subset of guests. So I'm going to search cards. I'm doing the same thing, but in a slightly different way. So I'll search cards, search for filter object set. The starting object set here is going to be guests. I'll name this guests between 50 and 70. And I'll be filtering for where, again, guest age is between 50 and 70. And now I'm going to make one more object set where I'm going to filter for guests over 70. So I'm going to search cards. Again, it's a filter. The starting object set is going to be guests. I'll rename this one guests over 70. And I'm going to add a filter. So I'm filtering for where guest age is greater than or equal to 70. So now I have these four different subsets of guests And for each one of these subsets, I want to calculate the net promoter score for these guests. And so I'm going to do that using the Quiver visual function, which is going to greatly streamline this process. So from here, I'm going to hit Search Cards, go to Functions, and choose Net Promoter Score Calculator, and I'm going to hit Add. So first thing I'm going to do to avoid any confusion, I'm going to rename this. So I'll say NPS under 20. The input is going to be guests under 20. And now I can add a little formatting. So the cog and then visual format. Then I'll change maximum significant digits to let's say 3. And then I'm going to go move on and do this for another subset of guests. So once again, Search Cards, Functions, Net Promoter Score Calculator, I'll add it. So the input here, guests between 20 and 50, I'll rename it. NPS 20 to 50. Once again, I'll add some formatting, visual format, maximum significant digits, 3 looks good. Once again, Search Cards, Functions, Net Promoter Score Calculator. We're starting with this time with guests between 50 and 70. We'll rename this NPS 50 to 70. Choose the formatting to add some rounding. Visual format, maximum significant digits is 3. And now we will do this one more time for folks over 70. So Search Cards, Functions, Net Promoter Score Calculator, Add. I will rename this first, NPS over 70. So the guests that I'm starting with, guests over 70. And for the formatting, I'll change it to visual format. Maximum significant digits is 3. So now I've done a bunch of calculations. Now let's lay out the nodes so we can see the logical flow better. So again, I start with guests. That's my base object set. I filter to 4 different subsets, and then I calculate my NPS scores. So from here, maybe I want to add one more chart. So maybe, for example, I want to look at the distribution of ratings by where the guests are from. So now the next thing that I'm going to do is add a chart for some visual interest. And we're going to be looking at ratings over time, segmented by park section. Now, the ratings property, or the review of each entrance to the park, is not a property on guest. It is a property on entrance. So here we're going to be introducing the entrance object type. And so to do that, from Quiver, you're going to go to Search Cards and search for Switch to Linked Object Set. The starting object set is going to be guests, and the relation type is going to be entrance. And now we have the entrances linked to guests. So next up, we're going to search Cards and search for Line Chart. So you're going to add that one in. Now the object set that we're plotting is going to be entrances linked to guests. And we're going to show this by date. So we're going to show this by entrance time. So week might not be quite granular enough for us, given that we're only looking at less than a month of data here. So let's instead bucket by day. And then the other thing that we're going to do is, since this is just showing us the count of entrances over time, we're going to want to show the average rating. And so for the metric, instead of count, we're going to select average. The property is going to be rating. And now let's segment this out by park section. And so here we have our line chart that shows the average rating over time and segmented out by park section. So let's lay things out again nicely so we can see what's going on. And take note here that everything is stemming from guests. So now that we've put together a simple analysis, let's go ahead and put it into a dashboard. So the cards that we're going to be putting into our dashboard are all of these NPS scores and this chart. So to start adding them to our dashboard, we're going to hit those upper 3 dots, add to dashboard, add to new dashboard, repeat for this one, add to dashboard. Now we're adding to dashboard 1, which just got created. upper three dots again, add to dashboard, dashboard 1. And then this last metric, add to dashboard, it's dashboard 1. Now finally, we'll add our chart. So add to dashboard, dashboard 1. Now to see your dashboard, you can go over to the side panel here and hit dashboards and navigate to dashboard 1. So here we have the cards that we produced in our analysis. So the first thing I'm actually going to want to do is give each one of these metrics a description, because these headers won't be rendered for all of them because I'm eventually going to put them all together into one row. So for NPS under 20, I'm going to click on this and change the description to NPS under 20. Enter. Same thing for NPS 20 to 50. I'll make that the description. And then I'll do the same for 50 to 70. And then I'm going to do the same for over 70. And now I'm going to drag these around so that they're in one row. So I'm putting NPS under 20 first. So we're going in age order. I'll drag this one up here in the middle. And then NPS 50 to 70, put that between these two. And for the header, I'm going to title this NPS by age group. And then for the chart, I'll rename this average rating by day by park section. And so now I have my dashboard. But right now it's a regular dashboard, it's not a template. That means that it can't accept inputs from, say, its surrounding workshop. So if we want to be able to dynamically feed in object sets from Workshop, we're going to have to give this an input to properly templatize it. So to do that, you're going to go to Settings, and then you're going to go add an input. So we're going to hit Add Input. And the input that we're going to add is guests, the base object set. So the way that we know that that's the one to use is because if we look at our analysis, we can see that everything stems from the guest object set. Which means if we change this to, say, a subset of guests, say international guests, or guests who spent over a certain amount, everything downstream will change. So back in our dashboard, again, make sure the input is set to guests or whatever your base object set is. We're not going to have any outputs for this one. And make sure you give it a name. So we'll call this guest satisfaction dashboard. And now we're going to hit publish and hit save. So now that we published our Quiver dashboard and made it into a proper template, let's go build a workshop around it. So from here, you can hit Command J and search for workshop and open that up. So now in Workshop, you're going to hit New Module. And we're going to call this Guest Satisfaction App. And then I'm going to hit Save. So this is going to be a pretty minimal workshop. We're just going to have a set of filters here. And then here, we're going to display our Quiver dashboard that we just made. So from here, you're going to go to Variables, create a variable. It's going to be an object set definition. And this one's going to be unfiltered guests. We're going to be using this one to back our filter widget. The starting object set is going to be guest. So we're going to close that out and put in our filter widget. So you're going to hit Add Widget. It's going to be a filter list. The object set is going to be unfiltered guests. And we're going to allow users to filter by things like address. So where are the guests from? We can also add the most recent park visit, total dining spend, total park visits. So just a couple of things that users can filter by. Let's give this section a name. So we'll call it Filters. And then in here, we're going to want to display our Quiver dashboard. So first, we'll make a filtered object set that we're going to feed into our Quiver dashboard. So you're going to hit New Variable, It's an object set definition. This one's going to be called filtered guests. The starting object set, it's guest. And then we're filtering using a variable, which is the output from the filter list that we just put in. And now we have our filtered object set. So next up, let's go ahead and add our Quiver dashboard. So you're going to hit Add Widget. We're going to search for Quiver Dashboard. Now we're going to select the dashboard. So we have our guest satisfaction dashboard. Notice that you can also add different versions here or set it to auto-update. This is normally a good idea. And so right now, it's just going to show all the guests until we add a variable input. So now when we add filtered guests, the dashboard is going to change depending on what we select. So if I select international, for example, what I'm seeing in the dashboard is now different. Now for organization, let's give this a name. We'll call it Ratings Analysis. So from here, let's say I find this interesting and want to export the results. So to do that, we're going to want to create a Notepad template so we can easily hit a button and generate a report that has these visualizations and metrics in it. So make sure you've saved your work. And then we're going to temporarily leave this behind, but we will come back. So you're going to hit Control-J and search for Notepad. Open that up in a new tab. So from here, instead of hitting New Document, you're going to hit that drop-down. New Document Template. Make sure you choose this one. And we're going to call this one Guest Satisfaction Template. And we're going to save it. Now we're going to add one widget here in this notepad. So we're going to hit a / and add a Quiver dashboard chart. Then we're going to hit Insert. So for the dashboard, it's going to be Guest Satisfaction Dashboard. Now, I would recommend breaking this out into the separate charts that make up this dashboard if you have a very long dashboard. But in this case, our dashboard is pretty short, and so I don't have to worry about this getting cut off by page breaks. So next up, we're going to have to specify the Notepad template input that is then going to get fed to this dashboard template. So under Dashboard Inputs, next to No Selection, we're going to hit this. And then make sure you hit Add Template Input. These other options will allow you to feed in different inputs into this Quiver dashboard template, but they will not allow this Notepad template to inherit parameters from, say, a workshop. So here, we're going to hit Add Template Input. And we have a new parameter, and we're just going to call this one Guests. And so now we've completed our template, and you're going to hit Publish. So now let's go put it to use in Workshop. So back in Workshop, we're going to go to hit plus and search for Notepad Template button. And for the document templates, you're going to hit Select and search for Guest Satisfaction Template right there. And now we're going to click into it to do some configuration. So first, we'll select the template version 1. For the menu display name, we'll call this Generate Report. Now, the template input, that's the one that we just configured in Notepad. So this is going to be an object set. It's going to be filtered guests. So it's going to respond to these filters. Now, it is quite useful to configure a default save name that is human readable. Otherwise, it can be quite hard to keep track of all the notepads. And so to deal with this, first, we're going to hit New Variable. It's going to be a string. And this one's going to be a multipass attribute. And so this is going to collect the ID of the current user. So the user attribute is going to be username. And then we're going to make another variable. So we're going to hit plus. It's going to be a string, variable transformation, specifically of string concatenation. And this is going to be guest satisfaction report generated by / to reference a variable, current user, on another / here, hit references, add reference, and search for current date. And so now the save name will be guest satisfaction report generated by me on today. And so we'll call this Notepad save name, and then change the default save name to Notepad save name. Now let's go back to the home menu here. Give this a color and give it an icon. And now let's try it out. So when I hit generate report, it's going to give me a toast that this was successful. So I'll hit view. And here I have my generated report with the custom title. So to summarize what we've done so far, we started out by building a Quiver dashboard, which uses a combination of visual functions and a normal chart. We put it into a workshop module. Then we built a Notepad template, which consumes the Quiver dashboard template. And then finally, we added the functionality in Workshop to generate a report with the click of a button. This concludes our tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to let us know which tutorials you want to see next.